Well, I've been in school for as long as I can remember. And I wasn't ever sure that it was going to end. But I guess today's a big day. And I'm a little nervous. Anyway, Mom told you that I taught her how to combine sunflowers. She didn't tell you the whole story. Well, we were combining sunflowers, and Mom and I were out in the field. I don't know where Dad was. He was trucking, hauling grain for somebody. And it was getting dark, and we were trying to get done or pushing for some reason, like normal anyway. But it was getting dark, and we had the headlights on, and I was in one combine, and I was coming back down the field, and I was looking around, and I couldn't see Mom's lights. And where'd she go? And pretty soon I see her, some lights way over there. And what are those lights doing way over there? Well, I'm not sure if I didn't teach her well or she didn't learn well, but somehow she managed to go, instead of going straight, she went like this. She ended up finding the neighbor's field, and she goes, "That's not sunflowers." She did find her way back eventually, but we had a good laugh over that. Anyway, I've been really busy lately, and like Dad mentioned, I was running the grain cleaner, and that kept me busy for a long time, and we're always busy with field work. And I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare a speech or to memorize it, so I'm afraid I'll have to read most of it. Well, like the paper says, it's time for the valedictorian address. Seeing as I'm the only one in my class, it was rather unanimous. Of course, not only was I the smartest in my class, I was also the class dunce. The tallest in my class, as well as the shortest. Just about anything else you'd like to say. So here it is, that last assignment before graduation, speech. I know it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I've never liked writing or public speaking, and this is both. I know I could probably say just about anything, and it would be good enough for all of you. But I don't think my teacher would appreciate that. My other last assignment was to read the book, Homeschooling, the Right Choice by Dr. Christopher Klicka. I found it to be quite an interesting book, lots of information on homeschooling, and I would recommend it to any and all of you. But I thought I would share a few things from this book that I found to be particularly interesting. It's one of the reasons why I'm glad I was homeschooled was because of some of the problems with the public schools. And I found, well, this copy of this book was written in '92. So some of the statistics are a little bit old. You could probably imagine that things have not gotten a whole lot better since then. So anyway, in 1988, according to a national study by the National Institute of Drug Abuse, this is in the public schools, 33.1% of high school seniors used marijuana, 7.1% used inhalants, 1.2% used PCP, 7.9% used cocaine, 3.1% used crack, 0.5% used heroin, 85.3% used alcohol, and 4.7% used tranquilizers not prescribed by a doctor. I find those numbers to be quite amazing. And the peer pressure and everything that it shows that happens in the public schools can be very hard to resist, I'm sure. Anyway, on a lighter note, I thought I'd share a few interesting facts about homeschooling. Did you know that several of our U.S. presidents were homeschooled? George Washington, our first president, Thomas Jefferson, our second president, James Madison, our third president, John Adams, our 6th president, William Harrison, our 9th president, John Taylor, our 10th president, Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, Theodore Roosevelt, our 26th president, Woodrow Wilson, our 28th president, and Franklin Roosevelt, our 32nd president, were all at least partially homeschooled. That's amazing. You hear a lot about those presidents, and they are some of our most famous presidents, and they were all taught at home. Here's another study that I found interesting from the book. In 1990, the National Home Education Research Institute issued a report entitled A Nationwide Study of Home Education, Family Characteristics, Legal Matters, and Student Achievement. This was a study of over 2,163 homeschooling families. That's families. The study found that average scores of the homeschool students were at or above the 80th percentile in all categories. This means that the homeschoolers scored on the average higher than 80% of the students in the nation. That's a pretty high score. It shows very plainly that homeschooling does work, and children can learn a lot at home. I'm glad that I've been homeschooled, as it has allowed me a lot more flexibility than I would have had if I had gone to a public school. It has allowed me flexibility in our schedule, so I have time to work on the farm and on other projects, and flexibility in our curriculum, so we can choose what to teach, and so that the curriculum can be best fitted for my needs. I've been a very hands-on learner, I know. I like to do things with my fingers, and you can use blocks for counting. I know we did more of that many years ago when I was little, but 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. Yeah, it's pretty hard to do algebra with blocks, though. I'm also glad that I've been raised on a farm, as it has given me many opportunities that I never would have had if I had grown up in the city. I've learned responsibility, like, hey, it's your cow. How to work hard. What time are you getting in from the field anyway? And I've learned to enjoy the wide open spaces, like Mom saying, if you're going to be so noisy, go outside. Growing up on a farm has also given me the opportunity to start my own business. First by raising a couple of lambs, then eventually we got into goats, and then day-old baby calves, I remember, and finally starting my own cattle herd. This year I joined my dad's grain cleaning business and was able to get a good start in the business world, as well as making a good bit of money. You may have noticed when you walked in that I'm somewhat of a Lego nut. I've enjoyed building with my Legos ever since I can remember, and my collection has been growing quite steadily. Not only are they a lot of fun, but I've also learned a lot about engineering, as well as robotics and computer programming. So you see, anything can be a learning experience. Homeschooling has also kept me away from all of the negative peer pressure that abounds in the public school system. I haven't been pressured to drink, smoke, do drugs, or play the boyfriend-girlfriend game. Now, a lot of people might ask,